So before we get started, check out the following links in the description box below as highlighted in the image shown. So you'll be able to get our past papers, our link to our official website, link to accreditations, our link to donation page, and contact details in the description. So once you'll be watching a certain video of any lesson or of any past paper, you'll be able to get all these links, and you can be able to get to download past papers, to reach to our official website. You'll be able to see links to our accreditations so that you can see which authorities have accredited us. You'll be able to reach to our donation page as well as our contact details. So our last question of the December 2023 past paper of communication skills. Question 7A says, highlight 5 disadvantages of audiovisual communication. What are 5 disadvantages of audiovisual communication? First of all, what is audiovisual communication? This is a kind or a type of communication that can be achieved both audio-wise and visually. Use of sounds and visuals, that is. So the disadvantages could be, number 1, high cost. Why? Because we believe that for you to have a perfect audiovisual communication, you need to have like something like projectors, and then so that you can be able to project the communication or the information on a certain board for people to be able to see. So getting the projector, procuring one, could be very expensive. That is why we say high cost. And then number 2, technical issues. Audiovisual communication is heavily reliant on technology. And with technology, breakdowns happen anytime. You're using a projector to project the communication, and then all of a sudden the projector breaks down. It stops sharing. What happens? That is also another disadvantage. And then also access limitations. Not everyone has access to the technology. Not everyone can have access to projectors. Not everyone can have access to internet and so on and so forth. Not everyone can have access to video players, the projectors, or stable internet connections, which is making that disadvantage also. And then complexity in creation, because we believe when you're talking about visual communication, you have to have an integration of the communication. Like here they say, developing, engaging, and effective audiovisual communication is more complex than text-based. It often requires carefully scripting, visual design, and sound production, which can be time-consuming. So if you think of all these things, you can sometimes conclude and say, no, let me just go for text-based communication. Why? Because it's very much complicated. It involves a lot of complex issues and so on and so forth. So that is also a disadvantage. And then lastly, we're having storage and transmission issues. For you to share audiovisual files which have information and which have graphics, which have images, which have all sorts of things, because audiovisual integrates some sort of different kind or different types of communication. You have pictures, you have audio, you have text, and all that. So sometimes the files could be big enough, which could be hindered from being shared, which that can also be a disadvantage. So that is question 7A. And then question 7B, we have outline 7 reasons. Why most of the professionals prefer to use presentation softwares during conferences. 7 reasons why most professionals prefer to use presentation softwares during. Number 1, visual aid. They want to support the communication visually, and also they want to ensure that they maintain the organization, how organized they are, the organization of their communication, which flows in a logical flow, in a logical pattern, and so on and so forth. That could also be another reason as to why a professional will choose use of visual communication than any other. And then also professionalism. Professionalism will demand that you make use of visual communication. It's always good and it's always professional when you go to present something. You have a projector, you have your computer, you have your sound devices. Everything is done in a very perfect way. That also improves on your presentation, and that brings about professionalism. So sometimes you want to maintain that professionalism in you. You don't want to do things in a very local way, but to do them in a magnificent way. So that is also another reason. And then also engagement. Most professionals will want to use visual communication because it's engaging. when you stand in front of people and talk from A to Z, from the beginning to the end, they might get bored because it's monotonous. They keep on listening to the same voice. But sometimes when you make use of visual communication, you use your voice, you talk a bit, you show pictures, you play videos, they hear sounds. That can make them to be more engaging than you just standing and talking. And then also another reason could be time management. It could be very fast for you to present using presentation softwares than just any other method, like standing and using a certain template, and then you keep on talking. That can take much time. But when you have presentation software which are very well made, very brief, you keep on just stating and picking the most important things and moving next, and that will save a lot of your time. So also time management is another reason that could make professionals to go for presentation softwares when they are attending conferences. And then ease of sharing. Yes, presentations can be easily distributed electronically after the conference, ensuring that attendees can reference the material later. So you can easily share the PPTs. If there are PPTs that you had prepared, you can easily share them after the conference. That's why also they prefer using them. And also integration with technology. Yes, because in this era where we are currently, technology is taking almost everything, taking over. Technology is shaping us. So sometimes you'll be necessitated to go and do it with technology for purposes of integration. And also portability. Presentation software, you can just save your work in a USB and go to the conference place and basically use the USB to convey the communication. So it's portable, very much portable. That's why most professionals are preferring to use presentation softwares. So those are some of the reasons. Lastly, 7C, describe 4 characteristics of a good proposal. How does a good proposal look like? 1, it should be clear and precise. Clear in such a way that somebody will be understand it, will be in a position to understand it easy when he reads it. And it should be precise and on point. It should not have a lot of information that is irrelevant. Just be brief and be on point. Clear and precision, or clarity and precision. And then it should also be feasible and realism. The proposal should be feasible, something that can convince people that indeed this can happen. So you cannot come up with a project that is not feasible. Proposal that is not feasible. Who will be convinced with that proposal of yours? So ensure that whatever information you have in your proposal is feasible, something that is real, something that is doable, something that is convincing. And then also a good proposal should be persuasive and well substantiated. Yes, it should be convincing, because for you to be able to give that proposal to someone and say, yes, this is it, then what have you put or what have you presented inside that proposal? Not unless it is persuasive, not unless it is convincing, not unless it looks sweeter, that is when people can agree, or people can, buy it, or people can buy your idea. Otherwise, it will not be a good proposal. So a good proposal should be persuasive and also well substantiated. And then should also have detailed objectives. And when you talk of detailed objectives, they're talking about objectives which are specific, objectives which are measurable, objectives which are realistic, and objectives which are doable, are ready to be achievable. So it should be made up with those objectives. And lastly, a good proposal should be well structured from one section to the other. You should have a logical flow between the section, not a proposal that is starting with the conclusion and recommendation. Where is the introduction? So these are some of the things that you should consider in order for you to say that this proposal is good enough. And that is the end of our revision session for our paper of communication skills, December 2023. Thank you, and let's meet in another revision session. So if you like this video, you can always enroll with us. You'll be able to access more of these revision sessions, and also you'll be able to find well done lectures or pre-recorded videos for all the KASNEB courses as well as CHRP. And in case of anything, you can always reach us out. We have our contact details on the screen. Feel free to call, feel free to WhatsApp anytime. So thank you, and let's meet in our next session. you.